I'll tell you, that's an excellent half for Sacramento to put 60 points on the board against that good New York defense. Yeah, they're shorthanded, but you know what? They were shorthanded when they beat Sacramento just 2 weeks ago. And I've been telling you for the whole week how much De'Aaron Fox loves playing at Madison Square Garden. I mean, he was outstanding. The Sacramento backcourt of Fox and Ellis controlled the game. I was really surprised that the Kings were able to shoot 65% from the floor against this Knicks team. Now, it is only an 8-point game. You know, after the Kings really built up a huge lead in the first half, Knicks chipping away, but the Kings scoring the ball as easily as they did is, to me, big in this first half. Outstanding. All right? Outstanding. Don't know what else to say. You know, yeah, you can nitpick on the free throws, okay? We've talked a lot about that during the year, right? Missed opportunities, you know, at the free throw line. But really, all in all, a very, very good half, with the exception of the free throws. Just is, you know. 60-52 at the break. Ryan is not with us here on this halftime segment in a moment or two. Hopefully the one and only Jerry Reynolds. But I liked a lot from what I saw. Again, this is a New York team that's lost 3 in a row, and it's a big game for them. This is a big game for New York. Big game. Big game for Sacramento. And the Kings really responded in that first half. The Mavs and the Hawks locked up in a close game in Big D with 2 minutes left to go in the first half, and it is 55-52 in favor of the Mavs. We'll keep you up to date on that throughout the evening as well. All right, 60-52. Anything you didn't like other than the free throws? Yeah, I know Harrison Barnes, 8 minutes, ineffective. I don't know what the deal is with that guy. Do you? It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get with Harrison Barnes. You really don't. But the backcourt of Fox and Ellis combining for 27 points and really making it difficult a lot for the Kings, really making it very difficult for the Knicks to score. You know, very good. You know, and then you got Mitchell. Davion Mitchell is playing the best basketball of his young career. What he did in that first half, he's playing 16 minutes. He's a terror on defense. And when he scores the way he's scoring right now, shooting the ball so well, that's a luxury. Think about that. Davion Mitchell is basically doing right now what Malik Monk was doing in a way, but much better defensively. So don't forget that, you know? Don't forget that. You know, I'm looking at Trey Lyles. He comes off the bench. You know, we forgot the effectiveness of Lyles. Trey Lyles is good. And Trey Lyles is important to this team. He really is. He's important. And you really missed him over those weeks. So right now, 60-52. The question is, can Sacramento hold on? The Knicks started to wake up in that second quarter. But boy, the fact that Sacramento's been able to score is incredible. I mean, I didn't think the Kings would be able to put 60 on the board and a half against this New York team. I did not. And I guarantee you Thibodeau's given this his team a tongue lashing at halftime. I really do. I know Tom Thibodeau, and I guarantee you he is unloading on his team right now at the half. So the Knicks are going to make a run. The crowd's going to get going in this second half. But I love what I see at the Garden. De'Aaron Fox at Madison Square Garden is special. It really is. All right? Special. You look at 16 points, 5 assists. He's got that hop. You know, he's got that look at the Garden, right? He really does. You know, every year I was at Madison Square Garden, I don't ever recall Fox not playing well. And when Jerry and me were doing the games, there were a couple of times when the Kings went into New York and won. And I remember having De'Aaron Fox on the postgame sitting courtside. And I remember he just, you know, was the man. You know, he was the man at Madison Square Garden. The fans were just like oohing and eyeing with some of the things he did. You know, the fast break baskets, the shooting, the slicing, really good. All right, Jerry Reynolds joining us here at the halftime. Jerry, good to have you on. That was an outstanding half, was it not?
Well, it was. I thought it absolutely great first quarter, and then obviously, I thought the Knicks defense really picked up, made things tougher on the Kings, and Kings would be in pretty solid shape here if they'd make a free throw now and then. But that's just it's just ridiculous, really.
It really is. I was talking before you came on how it just seems like whenever we were at the game in New York, calling it on TV, De'Aaron Fox always played well. He loves playing at the Garden. He was outstanding in that first half.
Yeah, he was brilliant. I mean, obviously, really taking it to personal. Obviously, with Brunson being the great player that he is, they really wanted to take on the challenge. And, I think, obviously Davion Mitchell and Keon Ellis have been absolutely
Yep.
terrific as well. So King's doing a lot of things right, but there's a long way to go. This next team, even though they're shorthanded, they're a gutsy bunch.
I was surprised at how easily Sacramento was able to score in that first half. I did not expect them to be able to shoot over 60% at a half and put 60 on the board against the Knicks. That's what surprised me the most in that first half.
Well, it did me too, except that they were able to really stop the Knicks. So they got out in transition a lot
Yep.
more than they did in Sacramento. So they were getting out in transition. As we know, in the second quarter, the Knicks started to score, and then of course that means the Kings aren't out in transition, and boy, the baskets come a lot tougher when they have to play 5-on-5.
The last game we were talking, and you were mentioning Davion Mitchell's shot. I mean, he looks like a different player, Jerry. He didn't miss a shot in that first half. And when he can score like this, what a luxury for Mike Brown because he's such a good defender. When he can be a two-way player like this Kings team gets a lot better.
No doubt about it, and I think they pointed out on the broadcast that he's shooting well over 40% the last month and a half from three, and the shot really does look good about every time it goes up there. But he and Ellis and Fox, when you're playing three guards, I mean, you've got some major quickness and defenders out there, and Fox is a much improved defender himself. So. Yeah, you got to like what you saw from the Kings. Like I say, a long way to go. Knicks scare me because they are so hard to play against in the half court.
So you expect this game to get real tight in the second half, don't you?
I do. I do. Yeah, I just think baskets are going to really become difficult. Obviously, if you can, make threes at the rate the Kings did in the first quarter, that's one thing, but it's
Yep.
tough to count on that.
I was saying before you came on, we both know Tom Thibodeau. You know him a lot better than I do, but I guarantee you Tibbs is giving his team a tongue lashing right now.
Oh yeah, and well they're built for this. Like I say, I mean, obviously before their injuries to Randall and OG Anunoby, I mean they were a championship contender.
Yes.
They did pick up a couple of guys I thought at the deadline, Bogdanovich and Alec Burks, veterans that can fit in, and that's helped to some degree. But they're still really good because Brunson's one of the very best players in this league.
We don't watch him as much as probably other teams, and I'm speaking for a lot of the Kings fans. Boy, he is really good, isn't he? Jalen Brunson's the real freaking deal.
He really is. I mean, a true little warrior, too. I mean, he just competes and brings it every night, finds a way to score. There's something about those Villanova guys. I mean, DiVincenzo and then you got Jason Hart. I mean, those are hard edge ballers, and they're perfect fits for Thibodeau.
All right, folks, give us your final score predictions. I think this scoring is going to slow down considerably in this second half. I could see both teams scoring less than 50 in this half, but I still think Sacramento is going to win this game. I say they're going to win this game 108 to 104.
Well, I've got them winning too. I think it's probably going to be 105 to 102. I think it's really going to get tight. But yeah, but as you said, totally agree. The points are going to be earned. They're really going to have to be earned.
Yeah, I mean, if the Kings put these type of points on the board in the second half, obviously they'll win by double digits. But I don't see that. I think this game's going to slow down. And I'll tell you this: if we're talking about this at the post game show about the Kings being this bad from the line, they may not win this game. That's going to have to get better in the second half.
Absolutely. I mean, certainly you don't expect to make every one of your free throws, but they've given away at least 3 points, but right there.
Yeah.
And so that has to get better.
All right, an update on that score in Dallas. They are now at the half, and the Mavs, who were trailing for much of that first half, now have the lead at the break, 65-57. So that game is at the half. Right here at a 60-52, Sacramento on top. Post-game show is coming up in a little more than an hour. Celtics tomorrow, then on the Brooklyn and Oklahoma City. We've talked about this. The importance of this game is pretty obvious for both teams, but for Sacramento, this really sets up the road trip. If they can hang on here and beat this team, and this is a gigantic game for the Knicks. What a huge lift going into Boston.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, could be the biggest win of the year, really.
Yes. Yep.
And of course, I mean, like I say, the Knicks have got the same amount on the line as well. It's just two teams really fighting for position. And so, yeah, I think we've just got a bang up half coming.
Before this game started yesterday on the show at 4:00, we talked about how we felt it was be interesting to see how the officials would call this game due to how the Knicks are such a physical team. Anything stand out? Were you okay with the way the game was called in the first half?
Yeah, I really was. I thought, certainly the game's physical, but I thought Kings got a fair whistle all the way through, and
Yep.
They're definitely playing the Knicks very physical, just as the Knicks are playing the Kings physical.
Well, again, there's really, other than the free throws, there's really no negatives. It's 60-52 at the half. And the one thing you got to be careful of in this second half is the game getting tight and that Garden crowd, which we know about. I mean, it's a special crowd when things are going well. And just keep your eye out for that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, the momentum can switch, as we know in the NBA. I mean, can change in 30 seconds, and we saw that in the second quarter where the Knicks went on that 14-2 run, and
Yep.
So basically, I mean, I just think it's one of those games. This is a playoff game, playoff caliber game.
Yes,
You
it
gotta
is.
come out and play every possession. You can't worry about what happened the last one. You just got to play the next one.
Well, you're going to need the big game still from your guards. I thought, Keon Ellis was outstanding in that first half. We talked about Mitchell, but the Kings guards with a really, really impressive first half, 60-52 at the break. Jerry, always good to have you on. We really appreciate it and enjoy the second half.
Well, I hope to. Yeah, I was going to say, I hope you got something good to talk about because that
Yep.
a great first half and very fun. And we're going to, if you love NBA basketball, you're going to like what you see here in the second half.
All right, Jerry, take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. As a matter of fact, that's how soon, in about 24 hours when the Kings are in Boston. All right. Again, I'll be on solo. So that means that we want your calls. Will the Kings be lining the beam tonight? Right now, it looks pretty good. But, boy, there's a big 24 minutes left. We'll break it down for you in a little more.